Hi folks, so in this particular video, as you saw on the thumbnail, it's about John Mark Comer. Kind of well known, has kind of a ministry in the church. But as you saw on the bottom of it, another Applegate fraud. I knew John Mark Comer. At Applegate Christian Fellowship, we were in the school ministry together. This was years ago, 98, 99, we were together. He's probably 20 at the time. I was in my late 20s. Started in the school ministry, same in the room together. So as soon as he got down there, a couple months later, his family comes into town. They move there. They're immersed in the church. So I don't really know him in the school ministry that much. We were in the same room, but we weren't that close. So school ends, and him and Seth Gilbert and some other people, they were doing that Monday night worship. They did that Monday night worship at Applegate for years. And then John Corson left in 2002, and eventually it sounds like these people just left too. He was dating Tammy Hattagee's, Luce Hattagee's daughter. He was the main elder deacon at the church. Another go along, get along. Dwayne Shin was an elder. I went to school with his son. As you see in the photos I'm going to show, Dwayne Garshin's now part of his church that he founded in Bridgetown in Portland. So one of the things in this particular video is folks, if someone stands on a stage and they say the right things and they read off the cue cards and they have the Bible verses and they go to conferences and they do YouTube videos and they write books. I'm taking John Mark Comer, his wife Tammy Comer, Garshin, those are the only ones I know so far at Bridgetown. I didn't recognize anybody else. We're going back to Applegate, and they're going to explain. Because see, they came there, they were already in the ministry, the Comer family. Luis Plow doing some sort of ministry stuff with him. But they're out at Applegate for a season of time. Why? Well, because they wanted to come and be these bootlickers for John Corson and feed their appetite off of him and see what they could get. And then when he leaves and things change, they kind of go on their way and do other stuff in ministry. These are the sons and daughters of the leadership that did all the stuff at Applegate. They just pick up where they left off. One of the things, I kind of looked at Mr. Comer's record here, John Mark's record, and I didn't see any mention of Applegate there. They were there probably 4 or 5 years. So all that crooked stuff was done by his father and his mother, them. They were done by his wife, Tammy, her family. Tano, her brother, was also in the school ministry, so that's kind of how John Mark hooked up with his sister, because they became friends, music and stuff, same age. So, and then you have Garshin. I went to school with him. His father, Dwayne Shin, was on there. So all these people were playing up all this stuff on stages, and they would say hi to me. We would do stuff together like the school ministry. But all these people are like the John Corsons of the world. They all know how to do the stage, because you've seen John Mark over the years. He's kind of refined his stage presence and his talking presence. The problem with him is that that's easy to do. We all can do that. I do it here. But what he's going to have to do is explain what happened at Applegate, because he's in his mid-40s. He's ran churches, leadership. He can tell you in minute detail what happened with these people. So that's one of the things that I do in the video. That is because he's out there on these stages, and it's fake, it's a fraud, it's a scam. He's as bad as those people are. But you might not know that because he's on these stages and these other things. And you see, his family is still in existence. They can explain too, because why all this was taking place. This started in 97 and went all into 05. I was there from 97 to 03. All this stuff was in the paper. All the stuff the leadership was doing in front of everybody. All the scandal, all the scam, all the bribery, all the corruption, all the when you're blessed, your target, thing. And one of the things about John Mark is that he always had kind of that forced politeness around me, because he always was one of those people. He had that thing. I think I remember later on that, oh, he didn't like me being there. But the second that I left and was standing about, came back to the church after I was fired for asking about the teachings and vaguely some of the end times theology. I mean, the land issues. He was one of the ones lining up with his family, with Tano and their family and the Shins. They were all saying F you to me and laughing at me and flipping me off, and as rotten as they could be. Why? Because at the time I'm asking about your end times theology. I got this great word. The rapture's not going to happen today, tomorrow. Doesn't even matter. What about this, this, and this? That's all I said. It was later on I got the land issues and the corruption. But he was the first one, along with his family, those people, all of them, just to line up and do the FUs to me. Because see, I'm not one of them. So one of the things that he's going to be asked is you have this presence and smile on stages and all this stuff about carrying it, but you were saying F you to him and flipping him off and laughing with everybody else when he was standing out there. And yet Applegate didn't do what's right. How can he figure it out 20 years ago? And it's 20 years later and you're just making excuses and trying to downplay, not even telling anybody you were there. You see, he's got a lot of questions to ask. He's a fraud like the rest of them. It's a joke. He's no different than any of those other people. What is he going to do? Maybe he can get rid of Garshin, right? Say, I don't want you here. Yeah, you know, is he going to throw his wife under the bus? Garshin's dad was there the whole time. Tammy Hadege's dad was there the whole time. Probably show you some photos of them along the way, but I'm just going to share my stuff here. I mean, it's a joke. He's no different than anybody else. So when you see the cover, Living the Lie, wrote a book, Live No, that's a joke. He's as crooked as the rest of those people. It's just that he couldn't get any more at Applegate, like a lot of folks, as time goes by, so they go out and do other stuff. Well, they took all that stuff with them. As you can see him, there's Garshin on his leadership. There's his wife, Tammy Hadege, now Tammy Comer. He just, these are the sons and daughters of the people who did all the crooked stuff. And that's how it is with the learned behavior. They know how to do the acts on the stage. But see, I'm not doing an act on the stage, because I was there the exact same time as him. We were together in the school ministry for over a year. How can I figure it out? And saying so, and he's never even mentioned he even went there. And he's going to lie and deny and do all this stuff here. So you need to stay away from John Mark Comer, Bridgetown, those kind of people, as long as you're on this planet. And again, you got to keep following the Lord. Now, maybe you didn't know, but now you do. And what you do is not go back to them. You get away from them. And so, because you're going to hear him respond, and his response isn't going to be, it's going to be all the BS. The problem is that it's not part of his script. So that's why you'll see his countenance change. You'll see his words change. You'll see his whole demeanor change, because it's not his act. And so, again, it's just a kind of a quick video about John Mark Comer. Living the lie. He's a liar, a fraud. And you need to stay away from him. You don't buy more of his stupid books. That's a joke. Get away from these folk. Get away from Bridgetown. Get away from Applegate. You're given information. The Lord cares for you. You can't say that he doesn't send someone to give you the stuff. There's someone telling you something. So again, thanks for watching. This was Mike Stinnett in the Office for Truth. Take care.